Hello everyone. I just wanted to do a quick video, kind of go over like the end of the class. We've got a lot coming up and go over a couple of the posts you guys are working on. For the most part, you guys are doing great, and I really enjoyed looking at your blogs and reading some of your posts and getting to know you better, even though we don't meet. So I'm going to try to be real quick here and just kind of go through some things. So you guys know exactly what's going on. So I really hope you watch this video. It's really, I mean, it'll help you reduce your time and your workload immensely. So please just bear with me. Okay, so here we are. This is what's due on Monday, your resource 2 and 3 blog post. So it's due on your blog, but you need to post it to that assignment section. And like I said, if you didn't do the blog, just go ahead and do this assignment and then just cut and paste it. You'll be deducted 1 point, but at least you'll get the assignment done. This is a really important assignment because this should form the body for your research paper. This should be 2 sources, one, that have different perspectives on whatever your topic is. So it can be, extreme opposition, or it could just be like 2 scientists that talk about coral bleaching, and they both believe that there's coral bleaching, but one believes it's, happening faster, or one just believes a little bit different about why, or something like that. You guys did a great job on the King Wallace post. You saying opened up with a great model post for that, and you really should be trying to use your topic just like we did the King Wallace post. So having that, one speaker says this, the other speaker says this is why it's important, kind of to your topic type of thing. Also look for themes like we had in the King Wallace. So you had freedom, God, brotherhood. What is it to your topic? You should have at least a couple themes when it gets to your research paper that you can organize your information under, your resources. Okay, so this is due Monday. You guys got to get it done because I have to be able to give you feedback so you can do your research paper, which is due on Friday, right, at midnight. 11:55 p.m. So get that paper in on Monday, and if you don't, the discussion forum will close. This is also time sensitive, the Tuesday post, because I want you to get the feedback to your peers so that they can use that for their research paper. So that's the point of those. I've tried to be real lenient with letting you turn in all your assignments on Fridays, but as we come towards the end, things are going to get real pushed. So after this, you get some feedback. I'll get it back as quick as I can. You can always get the feedback by just going right to the discussion post and view scores. You should see the score and my comments on the resource 2 and 3, the resource 1, and the annotated bib. So do read through those. It's going to be really important for you to correct whatever I say in my comments. All right, sorry about the dog barking, but we're gonna keep moving forward. Okay, so as we go down here to, you can see these are just to help guide you. If you need help with your thesis statement, introduction, conclusion, you want some models, you can use these as much or as little as you need to. I do have some guides for the citations, so you'll need to use those. I'll show you those in a minute. So that's due Friday though. The paper's due Friday night. I'll grade it again, get it back to you as quick as I can. And then by Tuesday, you already turn in your op-ed. So that should be pretty quick too. So you should have a research paper. It's going to be 1,500 words plus. You can go over that limit, but the op-ed is going to be limited to 650 words. So you're basically taking this research paper and you're turning it into an opinion piece that should be like the Amy Shallot article to some degree. So it shouldn't, you know, your research paper should be real formal. It may be third person, but it also, you might, you know, have a personal approach as well. But the op-ed, I really need to know why you're the one that's writing this. So you may not be like Shallot, who, you know, wrote about her topic for 20 years, but you may be a student in COVID that has a perspective about COVID, or you may be an athlete. Many of you are writing about athletic stuff. You have an insider's perspective. Give us that. That's why we'll read your op-ed, right? Is because you have, you're coming from a particular group. So definitely do that there. And then after that, that's Tuesday. On Thursday, your aesthetic presentation is due. The only way you can go wrong with that is by doing a PowerPoint. Pretty much anything else is acceptable. It's just, you need to put this in the clog. We just want to see something on your, about your research, but it can be, you know, you could do a painting, you could do, just show us a video of you playing your sport. It can be pretty much anything. Make it something fun. That's due on Thursday. And then the final day of class, you can get some extra credit points. This assignment's worth 5 points, but if you do 10, you get 5 points extra, which is really a lot. But you only have 1 day to do that. So really time sensitive assignments coming up because, you know, we're running out of time and this is a summer intensive. So yeah, July 2nd, last day to submit any assignments for the class at 12 p.m. And I really won't accept any after that because, you know, I will be really upset if people turn in all 4 of their papers on the last day. I won't be able to give you feedback. You know, you're really pushing me to the limit because I have to have the grades submitted in 4 days. So that's like grading, you know, 80 papers or something. So I had really hoped that people would have finished the website, but please do not wait to the last minute to do all these things. And you will, you know, you will receive quite a deduction if they're late. But, you know, you have to do the 3 main assignments to pass the class, and you have to do enough of the daily assignments to make enough points to pass the class. So anyways, anybody has questions, let me know. That's that. So the other thing, I wanted to just go over a couple of the posts. I think this is really important moving forward. First of all, the dream speech we had some great posts in there. I do want you guys to be more specific though. Like, don't just talk about this was a great speech and it was influential. No, give us an example. And several people did do that. I believe Tillin and let's see, Charleston, several people did, Kobe did some great specific examples where they listed a metaphor or a symbol or talked about a document or a scripture. And then we really need to think about, why is King using all those things? Scripture, right? Anthems, my country 'tis of thee, free at last. What are all these things? These are all creeds, right? It gives his message authority when he quotes a scripture or uses it as an anthem. And it's calling America to live up to its own creeds, right? So really use those examples when it comes to your paper. Like I said, the King Wallace were good. Some people sort of tried to have their own interpretation of chains. I believe Tyler said, you know, each speaker had their own interpretation. So that's really important to look at the context. That's why I give all that historical context. What is the speaker's view of chains? So for Wallace, and it was in my example that I left for you, the chains are the federal government. The government are putting the chains on us. For King, it's slavery. And some of you guys did a great job tying in some of this, the symbolisms and the metaphors to King slavery. But some of you kind of had your own interpretation about chains, and that's fine, but we still need to look at what is the speakers in their context that they are in, what is their view. Okay, so those were good though, those were good. So I wanted to go ahead and look at the censorship post. Some of the last posts, you guys should probably go read like the last 5 posts, because there were some really good posts. I felt like some of the beginning posts were kind of, you guys weren't detailed enough again. So, you know, looking at the Healthy American, Peggy, and I think somebody said it in the last post that, you know, so many of you were like, OSHA's a credible source. Yeah, OSHA's a credible source, but how is Peggy using OSHA? Because OSHA actually encourages using masks to prevent COVID, and Peggy is using OSHA against itself by using OSHA out of context. Usually, you know, this is talking about using face mask in the workplace, that they're not considered personal protective equipment, the cloth mask, right? And that's different from what they're saying about COVID, right? A COVID rule or regulation. So yeah, this is somebody who's, you know, working with patients. That's really different. So this is really important when you're looking at your own resources to find those gaps, right? Especially maybe your opposition source. What's wrong with it? You know, what's wrong with their argument? So, and then, you know, so at the end of the post, some people talked about, you know, who is Peggy, right? Does she have any credibility to talk about COVID? And if not, we should be wearing masks. Well, it's, you know, it's about health, the Healthy American. It's kind of deceiving. I believe Kool-Aid said, you know, this is a Tea Party sort of website. But who is Peggy? Peggy claims to be the former director of teacher education at the University of California, Irvine, and has been an educator for 30 plus years. She has a bachelor's degree in political science and a master's degree in international relations, and has years of experience as a health educator and community activist. There's nothing, international relations and political science do not add up to health. So that's a big problem. And then when we go to Simon Gold, who, you know, I think a lot of you said this one, see, oh, this is the Tea Party one. They're both Tea Party, really. But yeah, that tells you a bias right off the top, right? But similar thing, Gold is a doctor, but she's not like a virologist. She's not a specialist on disease. Gold is, and this is important because you need to put this, this is your bio, you need a bio like this for your op-ed. When it comes to your op-ed, you need to have a 1-sentence bio, or this one's a couple sentences. It should be just like this. Or it could be like the one on Shallett's argument, which I'll show you as well. Dr. Gold is a board certified emergency physician and a Stanford University Law School educated attorney. She practices on the front lines whether or not there is a pandemic. Emergency physician does not equal a disease specialist. And, you know, as some of you pointed out, there are some claims here, no real, you know, we don't really know. This got taken out, the pore size of a cloth mask covering. You know, it's trying to say that the mask won't protect us from COVID, but it's just not a good argument. And it's the example of putting up a chain link fence will not keep out a mosquito. It's different than this example that she's giving, that, you know, COVID will go through the mask. Now, if we're looking at dates, right, that's really important for an article like this. Because first of all, what kind of mask were we wearing at this time? Only the cloth mask. Now, most of us are wearing N95s, which have a lot more protection. But at this point, you could remember, we weren't supposed to get those because we wanted to leave those for the healthcare physicians. Also, the thing about the lab, they took it out because there was no evidence for that at that point. But now there is. So things have changed. And so if you're using any article, you need to take into account the date. And if things have changed, you'll probably need to address that in your article. But many of you said this is sort of a rant, you know, which for her audience, it's okay, but it's not a, they've chosen Gold because she does have, you know, a doctor. She is credible as a doctor, but her argument is not scientific. It's, you know, it's political, and she does not back up her claims with evidence. And this is something you must do in your paper. You can't just say things. If you are going to say things like this, where did you get your information? Why is it a credible source, right? So you don't need to go in your paper and say, I chose this is a credible source, like you did in your annotated bib, but you would state up front, this information from, and if it's from OSHA, you know, we would say, you know, okay, that sounds like a credible source, as long as you're not twisting it like Peggy did. So, you know, most of the things that got taken out were either because there weren't enough evidence, or it wasn't good evidence, or it just simply didn't really pertain to the argument at all. And this is sort of like a rant, more than it is an argument. But for the audience, you know, you can see why it would kind of work as an op-ed. Okay, so let's just look at one more thing. Okay, here we go. Amy Shallot and the sleepover question. So you might want to review that again before your op-ed. Here's that one-line bio again. You really need to have that. You do need to have your name on your paper. You need to have what academic formatting style you're using. So I know this is a brilliantly written article, not under my roof. There's voice. Charlotte leads with, we don't want them doing it. So this is people talking. You can use this type of thing in your op-ed, which would, you know, really distinguish it from your formal research paper. It's fun. It's really hooking the readers. And when you have a short article like this in a paper, you really need to hook people, right? And Charlotte keeps hooking us with her funny kind of voice. Some of you thought the sample size was adequate. I would say 130 people, all white, middle class, does not a scientific argument make, not particularly religious, because most of these views on sex would be from religious people. Also, it's, you know, really, I don't think all Americans have this view. So it's a little bit of a funny thing, but the thing is, it's our audience, right? The New York Times are maybe these people, are maybe all white, middle class, and not particularly religious. So it might really, you know, appeal to this audience. And so keep that in mind with your op-ed. Some of you talked about the structure that, and I thought that was really good, that, you know, Kimberly and Natalie, they're like these models, right? Here's the Dutch family, here's the American family. So you can see how Charlotte just sets up her argument and does a pretty good job of laying it out, whether it's not really as scientific as maybe an academic article. But none of you talked about that, the difference between an academic article and an op-ed. So really think about that. Your op-ed shouldn't have citations. You should be pulling from your resources, but making the argument your own. So yeah, you don't see citations in here. You're kind of telling a story to some degree. And, you know, it doesn't really go into detail, like, you know, is it okay to just have the boyfriend over, or how long do you have to date the boyfriend or the girlfriend before you can bring them to the house, right? Or is it just, you know, you met the guy at the club and bring him over every night, you know, a different guy every night? What is it? There's no real boundaries for this, what Charlotte is proposing here. There's no, is it okay to bring, you know, all kinds of different, you know, where do you draw the line, right? And just that there's different reasons why people don't want this happening in the house. It's not just views about sex, it's views about respect, right? So Charlotte doesn't really address a lot of these things. And that goes back to the point about it's really not America and Dutch. It's a particular America that she's appealing to. So anyways, okay, I think that's pretty much what I wanted to go over with you guys. Except one more thing is just go to that resource folder. You can see right here the you can use these for the formatting guides. And so here's in-text citations, you know, for books, web sources, articles. You can just click on whatever one you want. Click on the book one right here. And just make sure you can use the generators. There's one here. There's one in the, if you use the library, you can type in any of your sources in the library and it'll pull up a citation. Make sure you choose MLA 9 or the most recent of whatever academic style you're using. And this is basically what you're looking to put it in, the format. But there's these examples, right? Right here, you know. So just follow that. And let's see. Some of you are getting the couple things mixed up. Let me just go try one other thing. In-text citations. This gives you an example of how it looks like in text. So basically, if you state the person's name first, Wordsworth stated that romantic poetry was marked by a spontaneous overflow of powerful feelings. You only need the book page number. If you don't tell us who you're talking about, then you need the name and the page number. No comma. This is MLA. So that's that. And this points down to the in-text, I mean, to the work cited, which is here. Wordsmith, William, lyrical ballads. That's the container. All the containers should be italicized, date, period. The chapter, so, you know, the book, this is the book. The chapter in the book is in quotations. So this could be a website, a journal, whatever. The container is what it's in. So if you have a chapter in a book, if you have an article in a website, that's in quotations. Yeah, so, but you can use other academic styles and they're all in here too, right? You know, different ones, whatever you choose. Okay, well, I think that's pretty much all for now. Feel free to email me if you have questions, if you're having trouble with anything and you need to, if you just can't get your website figured out, get with me, let's get it done. Don't spend all kinds of time. If you can't figure out the works the work cited or the in-text citation, set up a meeting with me. Let's just get it over with. Don't sit there for hours and work on this. Let's just meet. I'm pretty free. So yeah, but don't leave it to the last minute. I'm not going to be able to meet everybody on the last day. So be on top of it. Know that these things are coming up. If you feel like it's going to be too much crunch time, you need to get that research paper done earlier. Do the op-ed, do the aesthetic presentation. Don't leave it to the last minute. I'm not going to be able to give extensions. You're going to get deductions because on my side with the grading, but also I'm not doing you guys a favor either because you're gonna run out of time and not finish. So anyways, I'm not trying to be harsh. It's just a summer intensive and that's the way it is. It's real fast. So I'm really looking forward to your papers. You guys have been so much fun. You're so amazing. All these things you guys are doing and all the great blogs. So I look forward to it and good luck. Do reach out to me if you need anything. Aloha and hui ho.